Thanks for joining me on the feed. I'm going to be going through the Desert Dunes Tournament Master qualifying round. I've played all three of my accounts now. It's taken a bit of dialing in, and I can't claim credit for all of the shots that I've got here. And there's a couple of holes where there's definitely a better alternative. I know there is because I've seen other people playing it. I don't have a shot for it, so I can't share it with you. But what I can do is share the shots that I have played today, give you some data on what the elevations are, things like that. I'm not quite as slick as someone like Tommy, or as good, quite honestly, so I don't have graphics for those things, but I'll work on that in the future. Let's get cracking with hole number 1. I play this hole plus 10%. I've taken a P4 Wind 5 ball, but you could also use the Golden Ox ball that was out last week. Is absolutely fantastic, and I use that on my main account. It's a P4 Wind 4, and you want to play max right spin, and max top spin, and just aim for the corner of the left bunker. Max plus 10% adjustment, and then look, I've got a full ball of curl on there. It shouldn't matter too much if you hit a great left, as I have there. It will matter more if you hit a great right. It gets quite close to this. It gets quite close to the right hand bunker if you hit a great white. But you should be fine on both of them, as long as it's not like a massive great. This second shot is plus 15%. It's taken me all of my practice last week to try and figure this out, because it looks like it's uphill, but I think it's just the way it curves down. So I'm playing this at absolutely dead minimum. Now I've got thorn in my bag. What I should have done was put I should have put Hornet in, because then it would have just sat on the red line. But I've basically just played this with the ball guide just to touch through the hole, and then played minimum distance plus 15%. I didn't get the drop on this one. I did on my main account, but I haven't got the video. I've had a device corruption and I can't get it off, but it doesn't get too far away. What I did on that shot was I lined up on the left edge of the hole, and what I should have done was lined up just outside the right edge of the hole, and that would have dropped. But that's it for hole 1. It's not a guaranteed eagle. If you can get one, that certainly makes a difference. It's a decent drop. Let's have a look at hole 2. Now, hole 2, P3 settings, P2 Wind 5 ball, but I think you need a P2 minimum. You could probably use a P3 ball as well. You can't get away with a P1 because you might end up pulling into OP. 3.1 top spin, 2 left spin. Now this shot is courtesy of Corbo at the stink. He got very close with it, and then I've just managed to nail it down. But essentially run your ball guide directly through the hole with the yellow ring against the rough. You want to adjust this maximum distance plus 30%. That's max plus 30. And actually, just a touch, when I looked back at this, I just slightly over adjusted it a touch, and you'll see that in reference to the way it drops, but it does drop, and I dropped it with 2 consecutive accounts, so it feeds up nicely to the hole. And you see it's dropped on the very right edge. It's because I just slightly over adjusted it, but max plus 30 P3 numbers, really important there, and that's your drop. And I've been trying to work on a shot for hole 2 that doesn't require the rough bump. If you haven't got any P2 or P3 Wind 5 balls, I haven't tried to do it with a Wind 4 or Wind 3. I haven't attempted it with a Wind 3. I suspect you'd have to adjust too far into OP and it wouldn't work. So I've been trying to work on a drop that's quite similar. It's like 3 backspin and 3 left spin with your blue ring over by the bunker, and then adjusting max plus 40 in P1 numbers. And I've been getting quite close with that, but not nailed it down yet. Hole 3. This is one of those holes where there is a better option. There are people playing this with KMs and cents and with an easy RB for the Albi, but this was the shot I played, and it's one of my finest moments in Golf Clash. I play 6.2 top and 2.3 left. Now that is because I've got a 19 mile an hour wind. For every mile an hour wind you've got less than that, you want to move it a ring further right and take off 0.2, 0.3 on your spin. The curl's really important here. It's just outside 1 ball. I'm going to power slice that. And don't worry, we'll look at this again in a minute. And watch it just feed down to the hole here. I really thought for a minute it was going to drop. I was so pleased to see that go. But that was an easy albatross for me. I'll give that one to you again, just so that you can see. The setup is there's 2 lines of rough on the left, so you want to. I'm parked on the edge of the second line of rough. 6.2 top spin and 2.3 left spin, but that was in 19 mile an hour wind. Like I said, in lower winds, and you won't get higher winds than that. In lower winds than that, you probably want to add a touch more top spin, a little bit less left spin, and bring yourself over a couple of rings. But I've seen a few send it shots in the last couple of days, and that's about as close as I got. Hole number 4. Now this is I didn't record the screen, so I've got the capture from Golf Clash. I've exported this out of Golf Clash, but there's quite an important change here. So I'll let you know what I did before I put this up. Essentially, I did a ball swap. I started with a Zerk, so P5 wind 1. And I had quarterback, moved it so that the blue ring was touching the rough on the right hand side at exact minimum of P5. I adjusted 5.8 back and 1.8 to the right. Then I switched to P1 wind 5 ball, adjusted for mid distance plus 10. It's medium distance plus 10. And put just a tiny baby curl on the edge. So I'll show it to you now and I'll talk you through it. And what, of course, with the replay problem that Playdemic have got, you can't quite see this, but this is currently sitting here with a Zerk. So I'm getting my spins in before I start. 1.8 to the right, 5.8 to the back. And that is where I'm sitting there now is minimum distance on a P5 ball. And that's where I did the ball change. You see it just flicks up again. With the blue ring just by the rough there. Just nudging into the rough. And now we're playing mid distance. Plus 10%. It was about 6.8 on this shot, something like that. And then look at I'm not even touching the inner wall. There's just enough of a presence there to let you know. And this drops absolutely dead center. Doesn't get much cleaner than that. Hole 5. I've seen so many different versions of this shot. I think the safest option is probably with a Zerk. What you want to do is set yourself up at about 2.2, 2.3 to 2.5 top spin, something like that, with 1 left spin. Center of the fairway, adjust max plus 10 and push up, and then just play your normal shot with no OP. Now, for whatever reason, I felt like this was a better option. I saw somebody share a shot in my clan chat that with this ball, which is utterly useless, it's a P3 Wind 1 ball. I've never used it before. I'd forgotten I had it, and then I saw somebody using one. I went, "Oh, that's not a bad shout." So I played 5.2 topspin here and 1 left spin. And what you want to do is, you see, I've got the ball guide is going just to the inside tip, the left-hand tip of where the rough just narrows there, because the wind is going to carry it over to the right a little bit. So I've adjusted that max plus 10. I'm going to push back up to max. And you need to hit perfect here, really. It's important you keep your ball guide when you're setting up towards the left-hand side. On my Sparty Clash account, I played this exact same shot and I had it more centralised. And the second or third bounce just clipped the rough and I ended up about 40 yards short of green, and it's a tough shot that. You know, you can try and play the rapier roll in, or you can try and play EB school distance, but it's on a down slope and not sure what percentage to play. But that was beautiful. It just finished right by the hole. I'm going to play that back again just so you can have a look at the flight on that. But essentially, max plus 10, push up, make sure the ball guide, and this is the I think the crucial part here, make sure the ball guide is just nudging towards the left edge. Just going to adjust that max plus 10. You can see the ball guide's just on the left side of the fairway there. And this is, you can do this with any level APOC 5 plus. With an APOC 4, APOC 3, I think you probably either need to adjust the topspin. This is a topspin boost ball, so you can add more to it. Or I suspect a better option would be to play the Zerk shot. And this just rolls down. It just comes into that funnel, and I did think it was going to drop actually. For a moment there, got really, really close. Hole 6 is my favourite hole in this tournament. I've been trying to find a shot 2 for the Albatross, because it's without question the hardest Albie here, and I nailed it this morning. And I cannot tell you how pleased I am that I nailed this shot. So I'll play shot 1. Shot 1, I use the new June ball. I have a real problem with this ball. I mean, it's brilliant. I could do with better needle stability, but that's a trade-off. It's, you know, you've got 3 extra topspin. It's basically a souped-up scent. But the animation continues to play even when you're trying to take the shot, which is absolutely infuriating. So here I am setting up. Essentially, I'm going to play max plus 10. I'm going to play full topspin, including the 3 topspin boost. 1 side spin to the right, or as much as you can get. Straight down the middle. Now you have to be accurate here, so only use as much OP as you're confident hitting perfect on, because if you don't hit perfect, you're in a world of pain. Getting to the green from here, not on the fairway, is just not a possibility. So I've just dialed this back to about 2 rings of overpower, maybe 3 at a push. But it's where the arrow is that slightly lighter orange about to go darker. You see that's dropped really nicely in the center of the fairway. Now this next shot, I've almost done it with a cat 5. This was dropped with a cat 6. So if you've got cat 6 plus, you've really got this nailed on. You need to play this at medium distance plus 30%. I tried it at 20 and it dropped short, but if you watch here, I'm going to play full top spin, no side spin at all, just full top spin. And what you need to try and do is get the ball guide so it's about a square away from the hole to the right. And you'll see it flicker just past the hole. And I wish I could give a better point of reference on this. I mean, there's a serious amount of luck here. But I played medium distance plus 30%. You're not going to be in any trouble if you hit great here. It may even drop, and it's so difficult to get it lined up. But what you're actually looking for is the second bounce rough bump. So it's going to pitch just in front of that rock, bounce over into the rough and roll down. And watch this for pace. Straight in the middle of the hole. And you can see from my opponent's reaction, he wasn't expecting that. I, out of absolute, complete, pure vanity, I'm going to play that again because it's probably one of the best shots I've ever played in a tournament. And from what I've seen on the scorecards so far, people are getting albies on hole 3 as I did, and they're getting albies on hole 9. There's a rough bump there, or I play a power slice shot on hole 9, which needs a bit of fine tuning, but ends up with a thorn or hornet about mid distance straight to the hole. So here again I played mid plus 30. And then just watch this feed down, second bounce into the rough. I think that's worthy of a... Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Okay. Hole 7. Didn't drop it, but so close. So close. Now you need a slider for this, and I've got my notebook here so I can give some adjustment options to you. I use the rock on this hole just because I just think it's a better option than QB actually. I was struggling to get a decent QB shot lined up on this, but essentially what you want to do and play on this hole is play 15% slider plus 10% elevation, no spin. That's one of the beauties of this. So I'm going to put no spin on the ball, not even going to touch the ball. I've got a P1 wind 5 ball, wind there is 7.2, and you want to get your yellow ring so it's almost touching the rough at the front and almost touching the bunker to the right of it. Difficult to give an exact, but it's almost an almost, and it's about a square to the right and short of the hole. I'm going to play this, like I said, 15% slider, so 6.6 rings on this adjustment. And then most importantly here, you got to hit perfect. If you don't hit perfect, it's not going in. It's just not going to drop. Flies nicely, catches that exactly where I asked it to, and watch it feed up. That's how close I got. So frustrating, but one of those things. Excuse the beeping. That's me getting a text in. I unprofessionally forgot to put my phone on silent. I'll sort that out in a minute. But it's really close. No spin at all. Much easier to set up. 15% slider, 10% adjustment. I've got to thank Dave, the Stink, for that shot. Darcia, Lestwood, his 2 accounts. That was his shot he brought into it, and I borrowed it this morning because it's a bloody good shot, to be honest with you. Hole 8, tough one to drop this, but definitely makeable, and I did make it. I've decided to go with a champagne ball here. There's lots of options for P4 balls, and I've seen lots of people take Zerks. quite a few opponents have taken the 4th anniversary ball because it's got a wind save, a wind 5 save, but I felt like getting up there was more important. So basically I adjusted this at max plus 10 P4 numbers, pushed back up to 24 yards. I got, yeah, just under half a ball of curl. I did hit that great left, but it's such a strong wind with a P3 wind ball. Sorry, with a wind 3 ball, P4 wind 3 ball, that it kept it away from that bunker. Now from 440 yards, I played the next shot. I played it with Thorn. I'm normally a Hornet user, but I managed to nail this with my baby account, Panic Sphere. And so in order to keep the slider numbers the same, I switched to Thorn on Sparty Clash as well. And I played this at 44% slider plus 10%. So at 440 yards, this was 44% slider plus 10%. And you'll not get much further up than 440, so no spin at all. I try so hard not to use spin, especially when you're sort of rolling up to the green. I think it's much better to let the ball just roll naturally. This was a 5.4 ring adjustment, I think. .3. And there you go. Drops right in. Dead centre. The only issue with Thorn is, of course, that if you hit a great left or right, it's not going to drop. You've got more chance of that with Hornet. But like I said, I'd set up my baby account's only got Hornet level 7. It's just not good enough. And it's got Thorn 8, and Thorn 8 is a much better club at that level. Hole 9. It's a weird one, this. I actually played Tommy in my round of Sparty Clash today, but I made a bit of a snafu, so I'm not sharing that shot. But this was in my practice round yesterday. This was the shot I set up. Now this is the new June ball again, and I'm going to set this up with the full top spin and as much left spin as I can get, about 1 left spin, something like that. And where there's 2 bushes together and then a little bush on its own. And I just wanted to get it so that the blue ring was touching that. Now, note the curl here. It's not full curl. It's about just outside the triangles on the curl. If you do too much, it will bring it into the rough. But this was played absolutely brilliantly and rolls down beautifully. So that was my tee shot. Now I watched Tommy play this, and he basically played it to go directly over the bunker, and he adjusted max plus 10 with a scent, didn't push up, but played full OP and quite a large amount of curl, and set himself up for the rough bump. So that's probably the way to go. My shot 2 was with Thorn again, and again I chose Thorn for this because he had landed on a big downslope. And I played it basically at exact mid distance, plus 20%, I think. I can double check that. Yeah, 20%. Unfortunately, I don't have a better shot than this because with both Panic and my main account, Danny, I overcurled the tee shot and ended up playing my second shot in the rough. Although with this shot, if you end up in the rough, it's still an easy shot for Eagle. You're still playing to green relatively simply. The great right there took it away. But as you can see, I think if I'd hit that perfect, it would have been on or near the money. Well, that is it from me. That's my 9 holes in qualifying. I hope to see you out there on the course. I hope you've enjoyed the content. Please don't forget to ring that bell, subscribe, leave any comments, messages you've got. I'll also be streaming my opening round and my weekend round. Whether or not I'll do it live, I don't know. I might do my weekend round live because I'll have practiced it 5 times before I get to that point, assuming I get all my accounts to the weekend. We'll see, but I'll certainly share the shots and